Hello, my name is Nandi Deterville of Deterville Law Office. Welcome to another edition of Canadian Immigration Law Updates, where I discuss a couple of updates that have occurred in the world of immigration law in Canada during the last 2 weeks. Today's updates I will have are threefold. First is the online service surveys for newcomers to Canada, which the IRCC intends to run. The second update is in relation to the round of invitations to apply for permanent residence, which occurred on November 5th. And the third and final update is with regards to changes to the pre removal risk assessment for individuals from Hong Kong. Let's get started. So, on this November 2nd, the IRCC announced that it would be issuing some online surveys to newcomers. And that's pretty much to find out from those individuals what understand their settlement and resettlement services, whether those services are working well, what needs to be improved. And so the IRCC has decided to contact those permanent residents who, in their initial applications to IRCC, said that they would be interested in giving feedback at a later date. Specifically speaking, those updates are for people who became permanent residents of Canada in 2013, 2015, 2017, and 2019. So, if in your applications to IRCC for permanent residence, you did indicate that you are willing to provide feedback, be on the lookout for that email from the IRCC where they will be asking you further questions. The second update is in relation to the round of invitations to apply. So on November 5th, the round of invitations to apply for permanent residence, round number 166. In that round, 4,500 invitations to apply were issued to candidates in the express entry pool. Again, this round was open to all candidates in for all programs. And this is a really good indication that IRCC is still committed to its promise to increase the numbers of permanent residents to Canada after the halts and the stoppages that occurred during the height of the pandemic back in March and April. This round was a little bit different from the others, however, and not simply because the number is now 4,500, but in fact it was 3 weeks later than the previous round. So round number 165 actually occurred on October 14th. So this one was a bit delayed by a week than the previous rounds. In the past, it's been historical that the IRCC issues those rounds every 2 weeks. So it was a bit unusual, and we'll be taking a look closely to see whether or not the rounds have now changed in terms of timeline. Or if this was a one-off situation. We're not yet sure how that's going to proceed. However, the CRS score for the lowest ranked candidate in this particular round was 478, which is a little bit higher than the previous rounds we've seen of late, being around the more 471 mark. So again, this round just showed a bit of a difference for the timeline as well as the higher CRS score required. So on to the third update, and the third update issued on November 12th was in relation to the pre-removal risk assessment for individuals from Hong Kong. The government of Canada has made a policy that because of the worsening conditions in Hong Kong, which would increase the risk situation to applicants who are from that area, that they will not be pushing through with removal when that person has received a final negative decision from the IRCC or the federal court, or the IRB, the Immigration Refugee Board. And that is in keeping with sort of Canada's mandate to not put people at higher risk if they were to leave Canada. So, a pre removal risk assessment is an application where, even though you've got a failed refugee claim, it sort of explains to Canada why it is that you are fearful of returning to your country of origin. And it is an avenue that would give the candidate perhaps, in the application, it could stay your removal for up to like 12 months, where you will still be able to remain in Canada, whilst the decision is being made on whether or not those risks to you in your country of origin, in this case, Hong Kong, still exist. So, and that was announced. So that is sort of good news for people who are from Hong Kong. And there are, again, pre-removal risk assessments available to candidates and applicants from various parts of the world. So that's not necessarily a negative decision on your immigration application would mean an immediate removal from Canada, but there may be options available to you in staying here. So that's it for now. I hope these updates were informative and helpful to you. Again, if you wish to contact me, feel free to do so at my website, www.detervillelaw.com. And again, I am available at all the social media platforms of Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I hope to hear from you again, and thank you for listening. Do have a pleasant day. Bye bye now.